You're a little curious about life in Jacksonville, Oregon, aren't you? I mean, why wouldn't you be? It's one of the most charming, historic little towns on the West Coast with loads and loads of things to do, exceptional weather, beautiful scenery, a thriving art scene, and nice people. And that about sums it up, so thanks for watching. Just kidding. You are going to melt when I show you around the charming town of Jacksonville, Oregon. You're going to see the historic charm, the beautiful scenery, and learn all about what it's like to live life in Jacksonville, Oregon. I'm Brian Simmons. I'm a licensed real estate agent here in Southern Oregon, serving the Rogue Valley area towns like Medford, Ashland, and Grants Pass, Oregon. And I'm so excited to share one of my favorite towns with you. We're going to cover some history, some national recognition the town has received, including being named one of America's top 10 coolest towns by Fromers. We're going to cover some of the fun facts. We're going to cover some not so fun facts, and maybe even just some like run-of-the-mill facts that are still important but really not all that exciting. We're going to get into all of it, so get comfortable and be prepared to fall in love with this place, because once you see it, you cannot unsee it. You'll be loading up that U-Haul and moving to Rogue Valley in no time. So let's dive into life in Jacksonville, Oregon. Since we're in a historic town, it makes sense to start with a little history lesson, right? Jacksonville is one of the oldest communities in Oregon, dating all the way back to 1851 when there was some gold discovered nearby. They originally named the town Table Rock City because of the iconic Table Rock Mountains, or technically mesas, but you get the point. Then they changed the name to Jacksonville when the county, which is Jackson County, was established, and Jacksonville then grew to be the largest city in Oregon in the mid-1800s. And that sounds unbelievable, but you have to remember that Oregon was organized as a territory in 1848 and had a population of just 13,000 back in 1850. So it's not that crazy to think that a small town like this could be the largest around, especially considering the proximity to California and the gold rush that was going on there around the same time. So the population today is just shy of 3,000. So obviously the state did a lot of growing up around it, and Jacksonville stayed more or less frozen in time in that era, which is actually the big draw to this town. It feels like you just teleported back into the mid-1800s when you see the buildings and homes in the town. A couple other things to note is that Jacksonville, Oregon has over 100 buildings and historic sites that are on the National Register of Historic Places. You can actually take a trolley tour that'll show you a lot of these and provide additional history. I'll include a link in the description of the video for more details on that, as well as a fun walking tour and a super fun haunted tour that they offer here as well. Jacksonville is also designated as a National Historic Landmark District, signifying its exceptional historic significance. It's no wonder why it's been rated as one of the best small towns in Oregon and one of the top historic towns in the United States. As deep and rich as the history is here, it's not all this little charming town has to offer, not even close. Just wait till you see the downtown area that we're heading to next, and some of the nearby vineyards and beautiful neighborhoods with historic homes that I'll show you later on in this video. If you're considering moving to Jacksonville, Oregon, I would love to talk to you about it. There's a link in the description of this video that you can click on and set up an online meeting for us to meet face-to-face, or you can just give me a call or a text at 541-954-7758 if that's easier. Now, off to the next stop. Welcome to downtown Jacksonville, Oregon. We're on California Street right here, which is the main street that runs through town. And you're gonna find spectacular restaurants and coffee shops and boutiques and bars and other businesses, but you know what you won't find here is franchises and big chain stores. Jacksonville is all about the locally owned and operated businesses, which makes it such a great place to browse the different shops and galleries where you're gonna find all sorts of stuff with local roots. And when you're in a small town like this, shopping local matters and goes such a long ways in keeping the local economy thriving. So when you visit Jacksonville, Oregon, make sure you get yourself something nice from one of these local shops as a memento for your trip. Another thing to do while you're visiting downtown is to check out some of these great restaurants. If you're able to eat outside, I really recommend trying the patio at Bell Union, where they have a huge old wisteria plant. At least I think that's what it is. It's a very big viney plant that's crawled into the pergola above everything and provides a ton of shade all throughout the entire patio. And that has won them Reader's Choice Best Outdoor Patio Dining Award several years in a row from Southern Oregon Magazine. They've also won Best Restaurant in Jacksonville in 2022, which is something to be proud of. Needless to say, it's definitely one that you want to check out when you're in town. It's super casual and has an Italian-inspired menu. If you're looking for something a little fancier for dinner, check out Jacksonville Inn or Gogies. Both have incredible food, great wine lists with local wines, and a wonderful ambiance. C Street Bistro is also fantastic, and the chef there is incredibly talented. It makes everything from scratch with locally sourced ingredients. And last but certainly not least is the historic and iconic Jayville Tavern. It's a little hole in the wall that's been around since the 1930s, and it's just a fun place to swing in and have a nice cold beer or a cocktail. Add that to your list and make sure you ask the bartender for a thumbtack and a quarter so you could try to stick a dollar bill up onto the ceiling. It's a ton of fun to try, and at the end of the year, all those dollars are donated to the local charities. Speaking of fun, our next stop is all about those good times. So we're gonna take a quick walk over to the Britt Gardens, which is home of the Britt Festival. Welcome to the 4.5-acre site of the Britt Gardens. Well, actually right across the street from it, but the Britt Gardens is right behind me, and we're just steps away from downtown Jacksonville either way. In the summer months, this venue is home of the Britt Festival, which is an outdoor music and performing arts festival with dozens of performances throughout the summer season, featuring a huge variety of musicians like the Beach Boys and ZZ Top, Diana Ross, Lee Brice, Chase Rice, Jason Mraz, Leanne Rimes, the Blues Travelers, and many other fantastic performers. The venue here is unreal with phenomenal views of the valley, a nice big lawn where you can set out a blanket, bring your own snacks, and enjoy the show. There's concessions available as well with beer and wine and all sorts of good stuff available for purchase. So if you're in the Rogue Valley during the summer season, you have got to catch a show at the Britt Festival. It is an absolute must. Another wonderful thing about the area here around the Britt Gardens is the great hiking trails that take off into the woods nearby. There's a couple starting points like the Britt Woods trails at the end of Fur Street and the Jacksonville Woodlands trails off of Highway 238, just under a mile outside of town. Both offer a variety of trails to explore and get some good exercise in. The options for outdoor activities and things to do in Jacksonville, Oregon are nearly endless, and so many things are available nearby, from golfing to fishing and hunting and hiking and biking, and the things that the lakes and the rivers offer nearby. There is no shortage of fun stuff to do outdoors. Another fun one is the guided walking tour of Jacksonville that I mentioned previously. And frankly, when you're in a town with so much charm and so much to see, it's really hard to beat a stroll around town. And you could obviously do an unguided tour as well if you want to just cruise around town at your own pace and explore some of the historic buildings and beautiful neighborhoods. In fact, that's exactly what I want to show you next. So let's cruise over to one of my favorite neighborhoods, and I'll share some information with you about the local real estate in Jacksonville, Oregon. We are in the Noonan Square neighborhood, which in my opinion is one of the best neighborhoods in Southern Oregon. Just look at the architecture of these homes. They all feature beautiful detailing that comes with the Victorian and Craftsman styles. The yards are meticulous, the streets are perfect, and the central park here called Noonan Square makes it feel like this neighborhood is original from the mid-1800s, even though it was actually developed in the early 2000s. Homes in this neighborhood rarely come available, but when they do, you can expect to see them around $700,000 to $1 million plus, depending on the size, location, and updates. This is definitely one of the more pricey neighborhoods in Jacksonville, Oregon, but it's not one of the most expensive. You can find $1 million plus homes all day long around here, especially if you get right outside of town where you get some of the really big, beautiful homes with an acre or so of land with gorgeous views of the Rogue Valley. But at the same time, you can still find homes in the 500 range and even into the 400s if you're open to a smaller cottage or a townhome, or even open to doing a little bit of updating. So Jacksonville really does have a lot of great options for housing and provides a really fantastic living experience for the residents. There aren't many other parts of Southern Oregon that offer this combination of great restaurants, beautiful neighborhoods, fun activities, and do it all at such a high level. That's probably why so many of the local residents come to Jacksonville for date night or dinner with friends, or to go to the amazing vineyards nearby. And that's exactly where we're going to be heading next to cap off this tour. So wait till you see this. Let's go. Welcome to Hummingbird Estate and Vineyard. This is one of the most beautiful vineyards in Southern Oregon, and there are a lot to choose from with over 100 in the region. It's no wonder why Wine Enthusiast magazine rated Southern Oregon as one of the top 10 wine destinations in the entire world. And that list of accolades for the wine industry here goes on and on and on. With so many microclimates and soil types, winemakers really have an opportunity to showcase their skills and let their creative juices flow. But back to Hummingbird for a second. The 7,700 square foot estate itself was built in 1926 and beautifully restored in 2019 into a bed and breakfast and just stunning wedding venue. The grounds were originally a pear orchard, and they converted them to a vineyard that you see here today around the same time as the restoration. And I really love this place because it checks all of the boxes. Great wine, amazing outdoor seating, great food, live music, and they even offer beer for you non-wine drinkers. And that's actually pretty standard for the more popular vineyards in the area. They do a great job of making the environment one that you want to hang out in and relax in and spend some time in. I've never felt rushed or pressured to move on or to free up the table. As long as you're enjoying their wine, they generally want you to just hang out. As fun as that is, I know there's some people who like to get out and explore the different vineyards. So let me suggest a couple others that are also fantastic. Check out Danson Vineyards, which is just on the other side of Jacksonville. Danson has earned many awards for their vineyard, and it's certainly one you need to see. Their menu is a little more hearty than Hummingbird, with pizzas and salads and of course the shareable cheese boards and such. But if you want to turn your wine tasting into an event and make a day of it, like a tour of the area, I highly recommend the Wine Hopper tour of the Applegate Wine Trail, or one of the other tours of the vineyards around Southern Oregon that they offer. The Applegate tour is just a great way to see the gorgeous Applegate Valley, which Sunset Magazine called wine country the way it should be. I'll include a link to the Wine Hopper tours in the description of this video. So I hope this provides you with a little glimpse of what it's like to live life in Jacksonville, Oregon. Maybe you've been wondering if it's a good retirement town, and maybe you've been wondering if it's worth moving to Jacksonville, Oregon, or moving to Rogue Valley in general. Whatever the case, I hope I was able to provide some value to you. Again, my name is Brian Simmons. I'm with eXp Realty here in Southern Oregon. And if there's anything I can do to help you learn, buy, or list real estate here in Southern Oregon, I hope you won't hesitate to reach out. Use that link I told you about in the beginning to set up an online meeting with me so we can chat face-to-face. Or if it's easier, give me a call or a text at 541-954-7758. I would love to hear from you. And I'd also love to hear what your thoughts are about Jacksonville, Oregon in the comments section of this video. I'm creating new videos every single week as we explore parts of Southern Oregon, so subscribe to my YouTube channel here and click that bell icon so that you can catch that next video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.